live. Hello, hello. Is anybody here? Is anybody here?
There's always people here.
No.
It was like, oh my god, they're early. So they're
right?
running.
Yeah, I know, right? We're actually
early, so they're running to the computers.
Almost on time tonight. Yeah, that's the rub right there. We're almost on time. It's not bad. It's not bad. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. We're Rumble Pop Live Edition. I'm here with, of course, Kevin, Chris, and Bonnie. Thanks for joining, everybody. Appreciate having you on.
Neville.
Are you trying to choke out your cat?
Hey, Neville.
Huh? No.
Are you trying to? It looked like you had your hand. You were trying to choke out your cat. I don't know.
I'm not trying to choke out my cat.
Just from that angle.
I was just trying to present a beautiful face.
Are you accusing Bonnie of being a feline killer? How dare you?
Yes.
How dare you? I would
Yes.
never.
Feline fatale.
Bonnie loves cats more than she does most humans because cats are kind and sweet and fluffy. They love you for who you are.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
True story.
It's true.
They'll never betray you. Never.
Actually, they'll eat your face if you die and they run out of
if
food.
you don't feed them. If you don't feed them for weeks on end, then yes, they will eat your face.
They'll eat your face. Yeah, for sure.
But it makes sense. When you eat someone's face too, if you weren't eating for a long time?
Nah, I'd probably just kill myself.
I mean, that was basically the premise of Cannibal the Musical.
Yes, you see?
Yeah.
Which was also based on a true story.
They should all just killed each other, and then the last person should have killed themselves.
The last person.
Yeah. I don't know. What do I know? Anyway, Mom and Dad's on. Everybody say hi to my mom and dad.
Hi, Mother and Father
Hi,
McKinney.
ladies.
Hi, Mom and Dad. Let's see. And is there anybody else? Nope, that's it. It's just Mom and Dad.
Hi, cat.
Aw.
We got a
This is
cat.
Just for you.
We got a cat?
We got a cat.
We do have a cat. We have a cat. Kevin, why don't you do the soft openings, the quick version, the drive-through version of this, not the drive-in version, the drive-through.
Not the drive-in.
Don't get confused and take your shirt off again.
Reader's Digest version.
The drive-in version. You know, we'll be here a while.
If it's a drive-in version, yeah, you start getting frisky. We don't need that.
Frisky. Hey, does she like Frisky? Does he like Frisky? The cat food?
This is great.
I get,
I'm sorry, I can't help myself.
they get Fancy Feast. So,
Oh man, those.
Ooh, bougie.
That's
Jeez.
what I'm saying. It's some high-class kitties. Right
Yeah,
there.
I guess.
Wow.
Gee, wow.
yeah, Fancy Feast and Purina dry food.
There you go. Welcome everyone to the most righteous, nostalgic, and always righteous live stream on YouTube. We are Rumble Pop. And let me quickly introduce to you my co-host and co-conspirators for the evening. First, the man that blue headset. He is considered the most handsome man in North Hollywood for 2 consecutive years. He is a man that knows how to make the ladies melt in their dresses. He is a man that knows DC Comics for life. If you insult DC Comics for life, you will be slapped in the mouth so hard that your beard will fall right off. He is the one, the only, Mr. Donald McKinney. Number 3.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next is a man who was voted the man with the sexiest beard in the East Texas state. He is a man who is looked upon. He is a man who is honored. He is a man who is considered one of the most brilliant men in America today. He is the great Jedi Master Teacher of thespians all around that beautiful Lone Star state of Texas. He is a man who honors his beautiful state of Michigan. He is the one, the only, the ladies' man of the Lone Star State. He is Professor Chris D. Turner.
Ignore the laughs.
And of course, last but not least, a fine young lady who's originally from that beautiful Grand Canyon state of Arizona. A lady who is one of the greatest cat moms in America today. She feeds her beautiful kitties the best feline food that's out there today. She will spend to make sure that those cats are taken care of. But she's also one of the greatest dancers, Polynesian dancers on the West.
This is the express version, right, Kevin?
I'm sorry.
Just
She
checking.
is Miss Bonnie Tudd. Is that messed up, Bonnie? I'm trying to give you praise and honor, and he's interrupting.
I'm just saying, some people would like the show to start.
And of course, I'm your humble podcaster, Grandmaster Jedi of the Vulcan Arts and the Vulcans, your humble brother and servant, Brother Kevin. And since he wants to get this show moving at a much quicker and faster and rapid pace,
Do you need a hand?
it's probably appropriate that I give him a hand. Oh, sorry, no.
Oh, yeah.
He gives himself a hand
Yeah.
and
Okay.
pull out.
Hi. Okay, so I've pulled out on all of you. It's just 2 this week. I had work. It was WonderCon weekend. It is what it is. So I read Peacemaker Presents the Vigilante and Eagly double feature #1. Yes, that's a thing.
Is that Eagly? I love Eagly.
Yep. It's fun. It's got a story about basically Vigilante is on his own because the Peacemaker's busy on a plane, fucking off with Eagly, and they're getting into their own adventures simultaneously. So it's 2 separate stories. They're both pretty neat. I'd give it about a 6. I'd say if you have the extra scratch, pick it up. It's $5 at your local comic shop. Shops like We Can Be Heroes Comics sells new comic books there in the Valley, or your LCS, wherever you are. Grab it. It's fun. Next up, I read Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk, finally. It's about 3 or 4 issues into it already. And I thought, I'm not much on X-Men anymore, I'm going to be honest. It's too convoluted. There's too much shit going on. So this was like a spin-off kind of a thing, and it's about Sabretooth's past. And I was like, okay, maybe I don't need to know 5 million things in order to read this, and I was correct. I did not need to. It's literally about him working for your favorite guy, Mr. Sinister, Kevin.
Second favorite guy, yes.
And how he decides to bail on that idea and starts to work for another dude, a mob boss, in the what looks like probably 1800s, early 1900s. And in like the Gangs of New York style. It's pretty brutal. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of guts.
Yes.
There's a lot of fun. I'd give it about the same grade, about a 6. I think it's worth your time. You can pick this up again at your local comic book shop. And it also is $5. So I highly recommend that as well. I think they're both very enjoyable. I enjoyed reading both of them. And I think you would too if you enjoy those kinds of things. And,
so they're worth a gallon of gasoline, is what
yeah,
you're saying.
worth a gallon of gasoline, yes. And that's just me just pulling out. All right. See, that was quick, right? That was fast. I pulled in and out so fast, you didn't even know I was there. I mean,
Look at the Minuteman.
that's a skill. That is a skill, let me tell you. A skill.
A classic Minuteman.
A few people popped in. Gail, hello. Good to see you, Gail. Nice that you're on. Big Sal's here. I mean, he couldn't be on the show, but he's here. So
Business, man.
we'll take
Business,
it.
yeah.
Mr. Sean says, yowza, yowza. Good evening, everyone. Don't forget to tag that like button. Thank you, Mr. Sean. Sammy says, hey, let him compliment Bonnie, you butthead. Oh, thank you, Sammy. Always
Thanks, Sammy.
with the compliments.
See? You see?
If you would like, though, Sammy, I can go out into the other room and grab your other Christmas presents that you still have yet to get, and we can open them, and I can show everybody. It'd be a lot of fun, I think.
Well,
People
you
would
can make
enjoy
it a
it.
bonus.
I think we had to take a poll. You know what? Let's do that, actually. Let's take bets. Everybody put in $1, and we're going to bet when Sammy finally gets her presents for Christmas. Will it be next Christmas?
Wait,
We'll start
you
with
can
that.
do
We'll just start with December of this year. Will it be Christmas Day, Christmas Eve? Will it be Thanksgiving? Will it be the 4th of July? Would it be my birthday? Would it be her birthday? You know, these are the targets, or just some random date you can throw out there. Everybody will put in $1. You select the date, and I'll let everybody know when she actually does get her gifts. And
You do understand the young lady works 6 days a week. She works many hours a week. Her schedule is
well,
very
she
tight.
shows up to places. I don't know if she's doing any work, but she's showing up to places for sure.
Well, she's doing work.
I don't know, Kevin. Do you know? How do you know? Can you prove that?
Because she has said so.
That doesn't work for me.
That doesn't
I need
work.
concrete proof.
Wait, you want to see like a time card or something?
Yep.
Wow.
She needs to punch the time card. The physical ticket needs punched.
Wow.
Ivan says, "Woo woo, just made it in time for Donald's pullout." Thanks, Ivan. Yeah, I pulled out really quick this time. Sorry, buddy. I apologize about that. But I didn't get too many read. No modern comics are worth a gallon of gasoline. I disagree, Sean. You obviously haven't read Between the Trees Where Nobody Sees, because that is highly worth a gallon of gasoline. That's worth, I would pay 2 gallons of gasoline to have a story like that. That's fantastic. So let's see, why did I even speak? I don't know, Sammy. Why did you? Jesse's laughing. Hey, Jesse, good to see you over the weekend, by the way.
Oh, you saw him over the weekend?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I saw him.
Where'd
He
you
was
see
at
him?
WonderCon.
Really? He was
Yes.
there? No way. He didn't come over to Spiro's Heroes. That makes sense. I hope you had a good time, Jesse.
That would probably be why. Yeah. Rethink a lot of my life choices right now. Heavy contemplation. I think that's probably smart, Sammy. So good. See, we've spurned Sammy to contemplate a lot of her life choices. That's important. You know, that's super important. And Jesse says if we're running a poll, he's in. He wants to make some bets on on Sammy getting her gifts. Maybe the facsimile reprints are worth a gallon of gasoline. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I think a lot of the facsimiles, a lot of that older stuff, like X-Men #1 sucked. Did you read it? It's not good. It's not a
The original
Yeah.
X-Men #1?
Yeah, it's not a very good story.
Well, it takes time to build, you know.
We're talking like the first issue, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
just
see.
wasn't very good.
It
But
didn't touch you right away. Didn't catch you right away.
right, but there's other stuff, you know, there's other series like facsimiles, I guess, like Speedy was a junkie, you know, that kind of stuff. Some of that stuff's like definitely worth it. So yeah, I guess it's a pretty mixed bag in general. It's just
First Bob
based
Goblin?
on the titles, I would imagine. Feeding ducks at the pond is not work, Kevin. Big Sal says what Sammy's doing for her job.
She does not feed ducks. Come on now.
And then Sammy says, also had to help empty out our garage today, throw out heavy items into a dumpster.
You see? That's work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is.
Why she didn't toss herself out, though? That's
Wow.
just-
You know her father
Be
was,
nice to Sam.
Her father-
I'm never going to be nice to Sammy.
her father and her older sister would slap the beard off of you, sir, for saying that. Slap the beard right
No,
off.
no. Her dad will probably laugh along with it.
No, he'll slap the beard off you.
No.
Yeah.
We get along.
For now.
Always. That's why Sammy doesn't want me going over there. I get along too well with her dad. And her mom, for that matter. It's interesting. Oh, and then she wants me to kiss her butt in public? Jeez, it's kind of forward of you. What's up, Amish? Amish is on, everybody. Hi.
Hey.
Hello, brother Amish.
And then Sean McGean says, Hard Truth Bonnie is back.
There you go. Our
Nice.
truth Bonnie. She's
Yeah.
bringing it.
Yeah. Speaking of bringing it, are we spilling anything today, or are we just moving on from that? No? Nothing to be spilled.
He says he has no tea to spill upon us today.
Too busy.
I got a good one for next week, though, so stay tuned for next week, guys.
Ooh.
It involves an airplane and a
Oh.
hotel room.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this sounds dirty. This sounds or like a spy type thing, you know? I'm in on this. Okay. All right. Sabrina's here. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, Dr. Sabrina.
And so yeah, we're talking the last March. Basically, it was the last day in March, so it's no brainer on that one to come up with that name, I guess. The last March, last day in March, last March, and we were talking. We're like, well, what are some of your favorite actors' last films, and were they amazing or were they tragically terrible? And most of the time, they're pretty terrible. Like for some reason, I don't know why that is. I guess just pure luck of the draw, maybe. I don't know, but sometimes it's fantastic, but or just decent, and then sometimes you get a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. which I don't know anybody that's liked it. I don't know anybody that's liked it. Do you know anybody that's liked that film?
Someone did tell me they liked it. I can't remember who it was. Someone did tell me they liked it.
Anybody in the chat enjoy The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Why we're at it, let's just bring that one up, right? We have that, right? That's part of one of the topics. Am I correct?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think that made the list.
I don't
No?
remember.
No, I didn't put it on the list.
Wow, okay. Jeez, Chris, thank you.
Well, that's partly because according to IMDb, it wasn't his last movie. So
Okay, well, it was. So, there we go.
Look, it was 2003.
Let me
He
tell
didn't
you.
die till 2012.
Let me tell you
so-
something. IMDb is a trash heap. And it is not the end-all, be-all of everything.
Look, there was like
You love
1, 2,
IMDb,
3. There was
but
like
you
8.
have to know how to use the information in it correctly.
There were 8 credits above League of Gentlemen, like 8 years of things before after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So
Well, Sean
But-
Connery retired
But
after
they
that
list
film.
Things by
No, he did. He did
role,
other
not
things. He
when
did
they
some-
were filmed.
He retired after that film.
he did some voice work.
Okay. For a pet food commercial, and we're going to go by that now.
No, he did a movie called Ever to Excel as the narrator. He was in a show called Sir Billy.
Sir Billy.
Yeah, he was in a video called Being a Scot. Modern Greeks. Video game from Russia with Love video game.
An industrial film doesn't count, Chris.
Industrial film.
Modern Greeks was a
Although, I don't know if
movie.
a porno would count. Like, let's say Sean Connery retired, and then he, went, into a film that was called Full Scotsman, or Lift My Kilt, or something like that. You know?
My kills.
Would
But I
we...
did.
Or should we count that? That's the question. If it's legitimately if he went into porn, if Sean Connery retired from acting and was like, I'll just do porn. I'll do porn.
But since it was a bunch of
What's
voiceover
gonna
work, I figured
happen
that wasn't
on
like
Jeremy
interesting to
Dies?
talk about.
Oh, the voiceover work? No. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen would be interesting to talk about. So, Amish looks like he liked it. He liked League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
And Sammy too. Sammy too. I liked it a little bit as well.
Well, I mean, that's
I've never seen it.
not a big surprise. James Dean as Jet Rink in Giant by George Stevens. Amazing final performance. I don't believe I have ever seen one James Dean film.
You never seen Rebel Without a Cause?
No, I don't think so.
Wow,
That's
it's
the only one
actually
I've
pretty
seen.
good. It's actually pretty good.
None of the nothing
It's
about
funny.
him appealed to me. You know what I
I think
mean?
we have
Really?
that on the list. I think that movie's on the list.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is on the list.
of course
on
it
the
is. Of course it is. Well, let's bring it up.
Yeah.
Let's show it now since we're talking about it. It's James Dean, and it is
It's with Elizabeth Taylor too.
ooh la la.
Love
Yes.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Let me see if I can open the freaking folder.
The file.
Yeah, for some reason it's not letting me.
It's a western.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yee-hoo! Yeehaw!
Chris, I think you do good in a Western film.
Oh, I would love to be in a western film.
You were in a Western film.
That was a TV show.
It was a web series.
Yeah.
I mean, like a
Yeah.
full feature-length 2 hour and 35-minute Western.
It's funny because I was when I lived in LA, I did a reader. I was a reader for some auditions, and I did so well. The guy wanted to cast me, and it was a western.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't do it because I was stupid, and I was like, I'm going home to Michigan for Christmas. I already bought my Christmas or my airplane ticket. Blah 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 blah. I was like, I was so brainwashed by my parents. I should have just taken the job. It would have been a big break.
Yeah, it could have been. You could have been a contender instead of eating chicken tenders. You know?
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Oh,
cold-blooded.
I did
man.
have chicken tenders for lunch today. So
See?
It's cold-blooded, man. You're cold-blooded.
There we go. There we go. Chicken tenders are delicious, Kevin. Shut your mouth.
Yes, they are.
Don't judge anybody that eats chicken tenders. How dare you?
We all eat chicken.
You're a tenderist.
Attendees.
You're a tenderist, Kevin.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
Let's see. Let's see. I agree with Chris. Sean Connery, says Amish. I don't know what you're agreeing with Chris on, Amish, but I also know that you can't handle your liquor and you're obviously drunk.
Wow.
Sabrina says, I thought this was about last film before they die. Thank you, Sabrina. Yes, it should be.
Mhm.
Yeah, not like some video game or something, some nonsense.
Well, they
like
were
that.
movies, even though like there were still movies.
Here we
they
go.
were in.
Here we go.
Look, a TV. It says TV movie.
Chris
Modern
Turner
movie,
stars in the
CP
film The Justification.
Coffee fee. TV movie.
Full of shit. This
TV
list is gonna
movie.
suck balls, everybody.
TV
Wait for it.
movie.
We all got turnered.
Well,
And
there
there's
is
this movie called
there
Effort
is-
to Excel, which he was also a
there's
which is also
also
a movie.
Gail Benning says Paul Newman's last film was Cars in 2006.
Hmm.
Well, according to Chris, it was a hemorrhoid commercial.
I did
2007.
not put Paul Newman on the list.
They did the voice. They used his voice from another film and put it in there, so that counts. I don't know. I just made that up, but it sounds good.
Oh, you do it next time.
I was busy, and you were like, "I'll
Well,
do it."
so was I.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because nobody else spoke up.
Mm. Well, I
Don't
appreciate
drag
it.
me into this. I was last minute asked.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah. You could have
Sal,
been
Sal would have done it.
Big Sal. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, we want to thank Big Sal for bailing on us 2 minutes before the live show. Thanks, Sal. Appreciate that, honey bunch.
Look, man, family comes first, Donald. Family comes first.
He was making that up.
Kevin, as we just
Yes,
as
he
we just
was.
discussed, as we and Donald just discussed, family does not come first because otherwise I'd be famous right now because I would have taken that break.
Right. Yeah. He would have been in the Western.
Yes.
He'd have been sitting on a gold mine. Oh, my God.
I mean, I just spent 2 weeks in North Carolina, so I have nothing to say about family coming first.
Oh, there you go. Enrique likes chicken tenders. By the way,
I missed the greatest show ever.
do you know what goes with... yeah, that's true. Do you know what goes well with chicken tenders is a Reaper honey to dip the chicky tendies in, which I will be doing sometime very soon. Very soon. When Bonnie was out of town, she got some hot honey for me. And we went out for pizza last night. And we drizzled the hot honey over the top of the pizza, and it was so good.
It was so good.
It made the pizza. If it wasn't for that hot honey, I don't think that pizza would have been anything.
Yeah.
Just been a joke.
It would have been a little blah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're award-winning pizza. Bullshit. Lies. Sean McGee says Dean's character in Giant ages over time. We see him as an old man. They shaved his hairline back and everything. He really sold it. I could tell. Like, he looks older in this scene right here that we've got on the screen. Hector says, let me audition for Big Sal. Yeah. Well, you got to drag your feet a lot. Like, physically. Like, that's what... If you ever pay attention to the way Sal walks, he drags his feet a lot. He doesn't pick his feet up. I notice things. I notice little things like that. Mr.
The
Sean
movie
says...
also had.
Hmm?
Let's just say the movie also had Dennis Hopper and Rock Hudson in it.
Ooh.
In Giant?
Yeah.
Well, it's
guess
funny
we'll-
you mention that because Dennis Hopper is also another James Dean movie, the one we mentioned earlier, Rebel Without a Cause, who also has another famous actress that's on our list, Natalie
Yeah.
Wood.
Yeah.
Natalie Wood.
Interesting. Hector
You know, that's
says...
what's sad about that movie. 3 people had tragic endings out of that movie.
Mr. Sean says, voicing in an animated film is a performance. Jimmy Stewart's last
see?
movie was Fievel Goes West.
You see? Look at that.
Aww.
Look at that.
I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Actually, Jimmy Stewart did a McDonald's
From the
commercial
first American
after that. So, I believe he's the one that came up with the ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hmm.
I think that was Jimmy Stewart there, Mr. Sean. Jesse says he would have played Chicken Tender in the background number 2. He could have
Chicken
played,
Tender.
yeah, as his acting role in the Old West. They'd have made him a chicken tender in the background. I think they would have called him Vittles, though. Chicken Vittles or something. Henry Fonda in On Golden Pond. Mr. Sean says 3 actors from Rebel Without a Cause were also in Giant. Yep. That's what Kevin just said. Apparently, he just ripped off what Mr. Sean said. Wow, Kevin. Way to go. Way to just take other people's material. I'm going to just say, I'm going to steal what Amish just said now. Yes. For taking people's All right, and Chris, you get the next one. Whatever said next, you have to say it. There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up YouTube.
Bring up YouTube? What'd you say?
Well, I don't know what they're saying if I don't have the video up.
That's true. That's very true. All right, so
hello, Doug and Olivia.
So Sean Connery, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, he retired after that film. Said no more movies, and that was it for Shawnee Boy. And everybody talked about how depressing it was because, I mean, but he did play Alan Quartermain, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't the character played? Yeah, which is a cool character to play. Speaking of which, we just lost a legend. The original, in my eyes, Alan Quartermain has.
Oh yes.
Just shed his mortal coil. At what was his age?
Let's see. Oh,
80 something?
I think he was 90. I thought.
Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, he was
Dang.
All right, and the last thing said, by the way, was U2.
90 years old. Richard Chamberlain was 90 years old when he passed. And,
You know what's crazy? This poor man died 2 days before his birthday. Wow.
Super nice guy, too. Super nice guy. He would volunteer for the Make a Film Foundation and would be in the children's short films and stuff. So he's very nice guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You know what? For something like this, I know it sounds silly. Should we just give it to him? Just say he died at 91. He was like 2 days off.
It always makes me really sad when people die so close to their birthdays.
Yeah.
Like if they miss it just by like 2 weeks,
Okay.
That
how
makes it so much more devastating to me for some reason.
how messed up is
I
it, though,
agree.
Bonnie, that you would be happy if he made it to his birthday and then, like, a day later died, and you'd be like, he made it to his birthday! You know what I mean? That's, like,
At least
fucked
you
up.
did it.
Yeah, but then you're happy for him. Why are you happy for him? He's dead. You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
You celebrate his life, not his death.
I appreciate the symmetry of things.
I
Okay.
agree.
All right.
I
All
agree.
right. You guys are...
Think about it. Wouldn't you want to celebrate your 100th
Both
birthday a little
autistic.
bit early, just in case you don't make
No,
it?
it's okay.
Let's celebrate-
Autism's real, guys.
Right.
I understand. You gotta get to that point. God.
Like, remember, Betty White. Betty White was so close.
She was like 3
Mhm.
weeks away. About 3 weeks away.
So close to 100.
Yeah, 3 weeks or so before she passed from her.
Yeah, well, I guess, if you think about it, it's kind of a bummer, sure. But,
Right? Remember the thing that everybody was saying about that is that, like, that is a life well lived when you don't quite make it to 100 and everybody is upset that you didn't make it to 100.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are some people where like, they're like, good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad he's gone. That kind of thing. Those are few and far in between, though. But, so for the most part, people are kind of usually upset, But, as far as, like, as far as an actor or something, if everybody's like, oh, my God, no. But there are some actors where, like, I'll go back and revisit and I love them, and, like, it still hasn't hit me that they're gone. Like, Norm Macdonald, for example. Norm was one that I'm still like, what? That guy's gone? You know what I mean? Like, he just... So I was like,
it doesn't feel like he should be gone.
No, right. He was really young.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Same thing with Matthew Perry. I'm still struggling with that one.
Yeah. Well, I think it's different in my head when it's something that somebody may have done to themselves versus just kind of happened
out of the blue.
Right. So, like Matthew Perry, I wasn't shocked when they were like, oh, Matthew Perry died. I'd be like, yeah, because he had a series of drug problems throughout his entire life that he struggled with, and that tracks. You know what I mean? Like, I could see that happening. But, like, when somebody's like, oh, so-and-so, passed away or something, or, and there was just, it was just, like Kevin's saying, out of the blue. That's more, to me, that's just shocking, and then you just think, you don't think in your head that they're gone, but they're You know, then you look back and you're like, oh, they did pass. And that is tragic, and that does suck. But the good news is we have so much technology now that we can relive, you know, moments with people and stuff, and with you know, with actors and things, and rewatch their films and all their little comments and things online, like for Norm with his talk show and with his TV show, which I'm actually rewatching because I did a deep dive on Norm over like last week, and I forgot that he had like 3 or 4 seasons of a TV series called The Norm Show.
Did it last that long?
Yeah. According to YouTube, there's like at least 3 seasons on there. So I'm like, okay.
For some reason, I thought that was like a 1-season deal.
Yeah. Jesse says like Kobe, that shit fucked me up, and Amisha's like Paul Walker. Yeah, exactly. Those two were like, you know, and then they're just gone. So yeah, totally get it. 2 other actors portrayed Quarterman prior to Chamberlain, both in versions of King Solomon's Mines. Cedric Hardwicke in 1937 and George Granier in 1950. I don't know either of those people. He feels the 1950 version is the best of all. I feel that, I mean, that could definitely be the case. Chamberlain's Alan Quartermains were campy canon goodness. You know what I mean? They were designed to take viewers away or to cash in on the Indiana Jones popularity. So they were like, what can we do to match? That's what Canon did. Canon did a lot of that stuff. And there's another company, Asylum, was doing that up until, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they would do parody kind of films of new films that were coming out. You know, instead of Avatar, they would have Cavatar or something. I don't know. They would just like change the name slightly. So then you might accidentally click on their film or be like, oh, that looks like it's going to be ridiculous. Just like Avatar, you know what I mean? So they started doing that. And but Canon had been doing that for ages. There's actually a really good Canon documentary.
There's 2. It's like 2 of them, actually.
Is there 2? Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. There is. Because they were talking about it, because when they were finishing that documentary and they were interviewing the guy that, like, one of the main producers on Canon, he decided to start making his own documentary then. And they were like, in typical Canon fashion, he decided to make his own. You know? So, I forgot about that, Kevin. Thank you for reminding me. Let's see. River Phoenix death was a total shocker. Yeah, Sean, total shocker. I remember him in what was it, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where he played a young Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. That was great. That was a fantastic performance. Stand By Me, him in that, and
Stand By Me.
What was the other one? It was there was a few other films with him that I really liked. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
My Private Idaho.
Yes, My Private Idaho. That was another one. Yeah. So let's bring up another couple films here. What would one of you guys just throw one out here, and I'll bring it up.
Did I say Natalie Wood earlier, or you already put her up? Natalie Wood?
I have not put her up, but I can bring her picture with the film, which apparently was called Brainstorm.
Yes.
Is this true? Or is this an ice cream commercial from last year or something?
It has Christopher Walken in it. You know, your buddy Christopher Walken. So it has to be real.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yes. There you go.
Oh my. All right. So anybody seen it? I haven't. I don't know shit about this film.
I was 2 years old when that movie came out. I have not seen it.
Wait, you were alive when it came out? I think you were born yet.
1983.
Oh, you were around. Bonnie, I think you were just born, right? Or you were born a year later?
I was 2 years old.
Donald was 13.
I mean, depending on when in '83 it was released.
Yeah, I might have been 2.
I mean, I can.
I was 2. It came out September 30th.
Bonnie,
September 30th.
In some form, I was in existence in '83.
We'll put it this way.
When's your birthday, Bonnie?
August.
So you were a month old. You were a month old when it came out.
Yeah, okay. September 30th it came out. So you were in the crib already.
I was in the crib.
In the crib. Donald was in junior high.
Aren't you the same age as Donald, Kevin?
I'm pretty sure I'm younger than him.
He's older by like 10 years or something.
No, sir. I'm younger than you. I am younger than you. You're black, definitely cracked. I'm younger than you, buddy.
Wow. You
Mhm.
hear that?
Being
Wow.
nice.
See,
High
Bonnie?
five.
Look at that.
But it's
I'm
actually
younger
pretty
than
interesting. It's actually a pretty
Kevin.
interesting premise to a story, and I kind of want to see it. It's basically about they allow a system that allows recording and playback of a person's thoughts into videotape. Actually, kind of a cool premise.
They did that
Elon is
on
working on that actually in real life.
They did that on an episode of what is that show on it used to be BBC or something, and it was Netflix. Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, I think they did that on Black Mirror, if I
Or
recall.
Altered Carbon, one of those two.
Yeah, something like that.
I think Elon is actually working on stuff like that for real.
You know what scares me to death is Upload, the TV series Upload
Oh yeah.
with
Yes,
the
'cause that
Better
could-
Emil.
that's- So,
did
'cause it
not
could happen,
get
yes.
The second season of I really enjoyed the first season, but
Yeah.
the second I haven't even finished it.
I think me and my
I
sister.
don't think I got past the third episode of the second season.
I think we were trying to finish the second season, me and my sister, and we didn't finish it. But the whole premise
I finished it. It
behind
gets good.
The whole-
It gets good.
the whole premise behind it is that when you die, they upload you into a digital world so you can continue to exist. And the whole idea behind it is that if you're rich, your money can carry you over and they put you in a better place digitally. But if you're poor, they put you in a basement in a room, and then after you run out of credits, after you run out of money, you freeze up and you're just like moving like this, like in like fast speed, you're on pause. You're like a record that's just rotating around. And then once somebody deposits money, then you open up, they unlock it, and then you can move around and you can go out. But you can only eat so many things. It's digital food, so it doesn't really matter. But it matters to you because it's just your brain that's processing it. So
digital heaven and digital hell.
yeah, it's basically it's digital poor people and digital rich, and they found a way to monetize the afterlife. So people in the real world has to pay money in order to make the digital mind of their great grandmother or something happy. Otherwise, they'll know that she's miserable and her brain's locked away somewhere and is being tormented because she's just paused, or
so people
eating
never
gruel
rest-
or something. Yeah, it's
Jeez.
disgusting, and it's so close to an actual reality because I know when all the rich, evil barons in this world saw that, they were like, just salivating, just like, how can I make this a reality? How can I make this happen?
Yeah, you make money off people for eternity.
Mhm.
Literally.
Yes.
For eternity.
Yes, exactly. And if you wanted to meet your great grandfather, you'd have to pay to unpause him so you can meet him and talk to him and stuff. It's crazy, right?
That means Donald McKinney the 23rd would have to pay a ton of money just to meet you, essentially.
Yeah. Exactly.
Man,
Hey,
what a
Hakeem,
disappointment
hello.
That's gonna be.
What's up, Hakeem?
Right?
Man, ain't that something? You get to meet like your future descendant from the 31st century. Ain't that something?
Jesse says that shit sounds dope. It is a good show. Especially season 1. Season 1's really good. It gets dark, too. It gets dark. Like, if it isn't dark enough, it gets dark. But it is also a comedy, too. So it's like a dramedy. So there's some drama aspects to it, but there's also some comedy, too. It's a really good show. It's Amazon Prime original, which I think is what Bezos' reason why he greenlit the project probably is because he's
probably
curious.
thinking about doing the
Yes,
same thing.
exactly. He's like, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Hakeem, glad you made it tonight as well. Upload is kind of scary. Thank you, Amish. I hope Upload does not turn into a timeshare online. Yeah, right? God. Or we can go to sleep, but our mind can continue to wander and live a second life, like a double life or something while we're sleeping. So our body's resting, but our mind's off someplace else, working and making money for us or something. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have those robots and we just download into a robot while we're sleeping because we're so poor we can't afford to live. God.
Oof.
Damn.
That's rough.
Yeah. When a lot of older people will go, this world's going to hell, and you'd be like, oh, shut up, Grandpa. Now that you're getting older, you're like, this world's going to hell. Yeah.
Miss Bonnie,
Yes.
you have a choice from this sacred list.
I'm gonna go with the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Ah,
One of the very few movies that I've actually seen on the list.
Okay, so this is directed by he did the Terry Gilliam, right? It's Terry Gilliam?
yeah, Brazil.
Yeah, Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brazil.
Yeah, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, stuff like
From
that.
Terry Gilliam of
12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys.
well, I was going to say of Monty Python fame.
Monty Python.
Yes, yeah. And he came up with this idea and directed it. It's basically it changed. Originally, there was only supposed to be, if I recall, there was only supposed to be one version of Tony, which was Heath Ledger, and Christopher Plummer's Dr. Parnassus. But I'll let Bonnie explain it.
Well, I mean, very famously, of course, Heath Ledger unfortunately passed away in the middle of filming this movie. And so, in effort to get the whole thing completed, which Terry Gilliam very much wanted to do, he reached out to a bunch of Heath's close personal friends and asked them if they would stand in for him. And that kind of changed the whole structure of the movie, really. And I think it worked really well. It was a great pivot.
So well.
And I think the really beautiful thing about it is that all of his friends did the role for free. They didn't take any payment for it. And then Terry Gilliam also made sure that Heath's pay went to his daughter.
Which is super cool.
And that's a beautiful, wonderful thing.
Really stand-up thing for everybody to do. Like Johnny Depp, Colin Farrell, and Jude Law all was like, we'll do it. We'll just do it just to do it. And they changed the role. In other words, then when Tony would go into the so basically it was like Dr. Parnassus, he had like a traveling show, but he always had this like secret, and he's like almost kind of an immortal. And thousands of years ago, he traded the soul of his daughter to the devil, and in order to have this kind of immortality, in order to be famous and stuff. And the devil's coming for his daughter, and he's like, shit, like, what do I do? So he came up with a challenge to the devil, and he said, whichever one of us can collect, I can't remember, it was like some souls, if I recall, 5, I think it was 5 souls. Whoever can collect 5 souls first, either me or you, will win the soul of my daughter. And the devil's like, deal. And so Dr. Parnassus then reaches out to Tony, who he had saved his life during like some instance during the traveling show or something. And Tony was like, I will pledge my life to you in order to save your daughter, because he loved his daughter. He loved Dr. Parnassus' daughter, and he wanted to be with her. So he would have to go into these different timelines, different like worlds, so to speak, in order to grab these souls. So each time he did, he became a different person. He looked different. He was the same guy, but he looked different. So he was Johnny Depp in one scene. And then when he went into another world, he was Colin Farrell. And so the idea of it really was genius, the way they rewrote it and kind of flipped the script to make it work. And when you go and you watch it, knowing what you've known, it actually is quite clever. And it is, I think, looking back, I think people are going to realize that it's a better film than what they originally thought. Like, I think it's, for how they were able to make it in the storyline that was told, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really worthy film and a really worthy last film for Heath. Even though he didn't get a lot of time in it, they were able to stretch it out, because every time they would come back out of the portal or whatever, it was Heath. It was Heath's character, so he was there throughout the whole film then, which was nice, because that doesn't ordinarily always happen when it comes to, actors passing and stuff. A lot of times it's like right in the middle of an action scene or something, and it's like, well, how the hell do we do this?
Well, it's funny you mention that, because interestingly enough, Aaliyah, who was one of my...
I was just about to bring that up.
Also, another one that hurts me. I was a favorite, singer of mine back in the day, because we're about the same age.
That one.
She was, oh yeah, she was in the Matrix sequels. She shot a few scenes for it, but not enough to keep her in there. So they had to replace her with Marvin Gaye's daughter. took her spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't she pass away either right after or just before the end of filming Queen of the Damned?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I remember they had her brother come in and do some ADR for her.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on a segment of MTV News or something or other.
Let's-
But yeah, her brother helped finish some of her dialogue and ADR and stuff. Because they're like, well, I know they're not the same gender, but they're family, and family's got the same vocal tones.
Mhm.
So we're going to work with this.
Make it work.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to pull up the Orson Welles one, guys, but I'm only pulling up
yeah.
the one.
There's two of them.
I only see one, but let me keep looking here and I'll see.
Yeah, the one that you and I agree on, it's there. Trust me. You know I wouldn't forget that one.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up
Again,
the
I got confused.
I'm gonna pull up the one that
last-
Chris says is
Well,
the,
no, I said two. I wasn't sure because the last one was a voice,
right.
and so I was like, well, I don't know if I like that. So I listened to the last movie.
Even
as well.
though other films in this were voices.
Well, that's why I made two. That's
But-
why I put two.
Chris, you came up with your own idea and
No,
then
no,
contradicted
there are no-
yourself.
There are none in there that are just voice.
Okay.
None are just voice.
Okay. What about the
Well,
Fievel
There's
or
one.
whatever?
There is one.
Okay. See.
But it's a known voice. So
Anyway, we're gonna go with Unicron, right,
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Well, you have to. You have to go with this.
First of all, that's the way to go out, in my opinion.
It is a spectacular way to go out. Like, okay, first of all, you are part of the reason, sort of, in a way, for, like, it coming kind of almost an apocalypse for many planets and many Transformers, Autobots, Decepticons, etc., etc. Yeah, and I mean, it's such an epic movie. The fact that, I don't know how you guys felt, but when I was watching it and I was young, I got so pissed off that Optimus died. Like, so pissed off. Like, Optimus Prime was supposed to be the savior of the Transformers in general. The whole idea of the Transformers was someday he was going to get them back to their home planet. They were going to be able to save it. They were going to live in a proper society. The Decepticons were going to be gone, either converted or defeated. And it just all didn't happen. It all went away, and just like that, in a blink of an eye. It was just so crazy how it happened. Like, you would never expect it. Like, all these deaths and stuff, and for Megatron to die too, and he technically didn't die, actually.
Technically.
Yeah.
Technically he did, technically he didn't.
Yeah,
But
he was.
what's interesting,
Yeah.
Hasbro made a mistake. Hasbro, Sunbow, and Marvel, they got confused what their audience was. G.I. Joe was the older kids. They should have done, well, which they did. They technically killed Duke in G.I. Joe the movie, but then they flipped that around.
Mm-hmm.
But they thought Transformers had the older kids audience. That's why they went, oh, let's just kill all these people off. Plus, it's all about money anyway. They wanted to introduce new toys. That's what the 80s was all about, as we know. You want
Right.
to introduce the new toys, so you take out the old ones. But they didn't realize how popular Optimus Prime was. They're like, oh, God, we didn't know the kids really loved them. Like, kids were crying in the theater.
Hey, what's up, Outlook?
Parents are writing letters, and people were pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I have a quote from Orson Welles about this movie. He says, the Japanese have funded a full-length animated cartoon about the doings of these toys, which is all bad outer space stuff. I play a planet. I menace somebody called something or other, then I'm destroyed. My plan to destroy whoever it is thwarted, and I tear myself apart on the screen.
That sounds like an AI response.
It does, but
It sounds like they took Orson Welles and was like, let's put him in AI chat. What is it? Chat PT or CPT or what?
GPT.
Yeah,
CPT.
and see what he says, what he would say. That's what it sounds like. I'd like to hear him talk about peas, actually. if we could
Oh, yeah.
for a moment.
That's hilarious.
Just listen to him talk about peas. If you get a chance, you should. I can't remember the name of the pea company, but just type in Orson Welles pea conversation, not PEE. It's not urine. It's PEA. Orson Welles' pea conversation, and it'll give you a whole thing, an audio recording of his losing his goddamn mind over these peas, and it's fantastic. They did a whole thing. I think. What was it? Pinky and the Brain.
Frozen peas. That's what it was. Frozen peas.
They did a whole mock thing on Pinky and the Brain about it too, which I thought was hilarious. So if you're into little bits of history like this is a fun one. Like whenever animated like people get they just have fun, which I love. Let's see. So Orson Welles, that was Orson Welles, and there's that other film that nobody cares about. Sorry, Orson. Moving on. All right. Anybody want to talk about something else? Another character? We'll bring somebody else up. Happy to do it.
Professor, what do you got?
I guess we'll talk about another voice actor since it's making me feel terrible. Let's talk about James Earl Jones.
Yes.
Which I did a double dose of voice acting for him.
James Earl Jones, Coming to America 2 was his last film?
So, well, no, his last film was, film technically, but I mean, I also put Obi-Wan Kenobi on there, so.
He was Obi-Wan Kenobi?
He was Vader.
He was Vader. His
on the series.
Doing the voice of Vader.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do I have that photo?
But I think we should have. I put Coming to America on there as well. So.
Yeah, it's Coming to America, and then there's something else besides Star Wars.
I don't know. I don't see it. I'll keep looking. You can go ahead and talk about him. Anyway.
Well, what can you say? I mean, James Earl Jones.
I was bringing it up for all of us to talk about.
He's a legend. Yeah. I mean, he's been around for 60-something years, or maybe longer than that, 70 years of acting.
He was
a legend. Absolute
my
legend.
childhood, you know?
There's no other James Earl Jones photo in here, just to let you guys know.
Okay. Well,
I've looked
Kevin,
it over.
You failed too.
But that's okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing him on Broadway in We Can't Take It With You. And I remember that's when I found out that he had a stutter. I didn't know he had a stutter before that movie, before that show. And then he did it a lot during the show, and I looked it up. I was like, oh, he has a stutter. Pretty good considering you never really see it on film too much. But he was really good in it. And so when he died, I really thought about that. I was like, oh man, I really got to see his last live performance, or not live, not his last performance, his last play he did live, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And we all know who James Earl Jones. Of course, he was Darth Vader. He was Mufasa.
Beltloop says he was also in the Big Bang Theory storyline. Had him and Sheldon hanging out.
Yes, it was hilarious.
That was
it was actually hilarious.
Great. That was one of my favorite episodes. Yeah, and that was the first time, technically, that he and Carrie Fisher were ever on screen together.
Yeah, because Carrie Fisher was in that too.
Oh, really? That is kind of cool.
They were never on screen together. Well, technically, they weren't even really on screen together in the show. She shows up at the door as he's running away.
Yeah, they do a flaming bag on her door stoop.
Yeah.
And she comes out and it's like James, I know it was you.
Yeah. And then he yells back, "Then why am I laughing?" So
Nice.
great. So great.
I didn't get to see Coming to America 2. Did anybody watch that?
I did not. I
did. It's fun. It's not. It's not the first one.
I was waiting for a girls' night, and it hasn't happened yet. So.
You waiting on Sammy? Is that what that is?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Neil.
Oh, okay.
Neil and I were supposed to watch it together.
I was like, because that's been out for 2 years, so that would make sense if it was Sammy. Just have a track.
Oh.
It's based on that.
It was okay. It's kind of like a lot of things that come out way after it's supposed to, like where it's it doesn't have this. It doesn't have the same feeling or the same.
Yeah, we were just talking about
the
that.
Original.
There's not many films that do that. Top Gun was a very rare film to be able to.
Top Gun was so good.
Yeah, the sequel to be able to capture that.
Movie did it.
I don't think Bill and Ted did it.
I
don't think they did. I think we wanted him to, and that's why we let him slide. It's not great. It's okay, but it's not great. like in my opinion. But Chris liked it, so you might like it too. You might like it more than me. Let's see. Belt Loop says it was too woke for him. Well, I mean, was that the whole premise of the first Coming to America? Was them kind of waking up from a aristocratic kind of environment and learning how to be amongst the people?
Amongst the people, yes.
McDonald's or McDoodles or whatever it was. McDowell's, yeah. That kind of thing. But maybe he meant in a different way, which is, I haven't seen it, so I couldn't say. But good on them for making it, though. It was an Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was an Amazon. Oh, okay. I see what you said.
It was the same with the new Beverly Hills Cop, where it's like you saw a glimmer of what it could have been or what it was, but it wasn't the same.
Mm.
I forgot they even did a new Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Was that good?
It was okay, but again, it just didn't feel the same.
That would be the fourth one, right? Or was it, would be the fourth one? Yeah. Yeah, I'm always down to see Axel Foley again. That's always fun. I feel like we're gonna have a Danny Glover type of an instance with Axel Foley at some point where he's getting too old for this shit because he's around that age.
That was basically what the movie was about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna pull up another one here.
Yeah, about you, Donald. What you got?
Well, I wanted to talk about for me, it would have been like you guys don't have that one, do you?
Who was it, or what was it?
I think I was gonna do Chris Farley, but I don't see it in here.
It wasn't on the list that Kevin sent me.
Oh.
You sure? I thought it was on.
You didn't put it on the list, no.
Oh, that's a shame.
But we have the other person.
Yeah. It's true. We do have the other guy.
We have John Candy, and we have let's see. I can't bring up the one photo, unfortunately. It did not work. So I'm gonna bring up Canadian Bacon. That's not his last film. That's film came out last. But the film that he freaking died on set filming was actually called Wagons East. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about Wagons East than I am Canadian Bacon, particularly because Canadian Bacon wasn't very good and a very forgettable film. Wagons East was also not a very good film, but it was most definitely, in my humble opinion, better than Canadian Bacon. And, say what you want about that, but I could pull up in here, with as far as Wagons East, the whole idea was it was a bunch of people, Richard Lewis, John C. McGinley, Robert Picardo, Ed Lauder, all these character actors were sick of being in the Wild West. The Wild West was a trash heap to them. They hated it. They couldn't stand it. And so they decided to pack it up and go back east. Hence the title Wagons East. But they needed a trailblazer. They needed a guide. And they ended up getting a drunk. Which is the character that John Candy played. And I can't remember John Candy's character's name in it offhand. I think it was James. But so he volunteered for pay, of course, to take them east. And then a lot of shit goes down along the way. Of course, they camp near an Indian, camping site. They get chased by bandits and things like that. So it was just a lot of fun. So if you get a chance to watch Wagons East, I think it's on Hulu or Pluto or Tubi or one of those. It's either free. I think it's free to watch on Tubi if you get on Tubi or Pluto. I think you can pull it up on there. And it is John Candy's last film. He had a heart attack in the middle of filming it, and they were able to piece it together using the shots they already had with him. And then they just did a lot of scenes of him with his back turned to the camera.
Okay, so it's on YouTube TV, Tubi, Fandango at Home for free, Fubo, Peacock for free, Pluto for free, Amazon Prime for free.
Nice. Okay. And the other one I'm going to talk about really quickly, we don't have a photo, but it's Chris Farley's Almost Heroes. Him and Matthew Perry. Definitely not Matthew Perry's last film, but very sad that both him and Chris kind of went in a somewhat similar fashion, sadly, where they play two explorers that are racing Lewis and Clark to the Pacific Ocean in the early 1800s. Of course, Chris is a clumsy tracker, and Matthew Perry is kind of a glory-seeking, kind of a bougie wannabe character that wants to look better than he is. And they get a ragtag band of misfits, including Eugene Levy, Bokeem Woodbine, Kevin Dunn, Lisa B. Kevin Dunn, I think, is the bad guy in this one. He plays Hidalgo that chases after them. But it's I rewatched it recently, actually. It came out in 1998, and it's a much better film than I gave it credit for, to be honest. I thought, rewatching it, I was too harsh, and I very much enjoyed the rewatch of Almost Heroes. So if you guys do get a chance to rewatch it, or if you haven't seen it at all, I recommend it. It still has that Farley kind of humor and stupidity that you're used to, and you can also watch it for free on Tubi, so you can catch that one, and there's no cost on Almost Heroes. And it is funny how two really big actors, and I mean big in both voice, in performance anyway, and in size, Chris Farley and John Candy, died in kind of almost quasi-Western-y type films. I just thought that parallel was odd, in my humble opinion. But really quickly, just see, check out some of these movies I've never even heard of, says Hakeem. Sean McGean says, Mr. Sean, I always thought Tarantino should have used Dillon. Still with 18 folks here, there should be 18 likes. Thanks, Butler. Appreciate that. Amish says, right, yes, Tubi, John Candy. Mr. Sun says, good choice. What do you guys think about the trailer for Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another? Is asking Sean McGean. I have not seen the trailer.
Looks interesting. Looks interesting.
I haven't seen it.
As DiCaprio and many other folks in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest. I've just been too busy to even watch TV or trailers or anything, which is kind of a bummer. I want to have a little more time. Maybe I'll watch the trailer after we're done here. Let's pop up a few more. What do you guys have? Anything in your head that you want to discuss?
You know, another sad one, because I've always said, I was having this conversation with a few people, I believe he would have been doing some of the movies that Keanu Reeves has been doing the past 20 years had he lived, and that's Brandon Lee.
Oh.
I think he would have been Neo in The Matrix. I think he would have been John Wick. I think there's a very possibility that Brandon Lee would have been on that level had he survived. So, of course, we know what that last movie of his was, The Crow.
I think you are correct. Yeah, I have to agree.
Kind of like River Phoenix the way. I think he would have had the career of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Didn't Brandon Lee, didn't he co-star in Showdown in Little Tokyo, too? With,
yes, he did.
Dolph Lundgren?
Yes, he did with Dolph Lundgren, yeah. I think that was the movie he did before this.
If you guys get a chance, you should watch that. It showcases his ability to read the script no matter how ridiculous it is. Because that movie is absolutely ridiculous. And there's some lines in there that they gave Brandon that should never be said by another human being for no reason whatsoever. It was just a weird script. And some of the lines are just absolutely bonkers. Like you're in the middle of a fight scene, right? You don't know if you're going to live, and you just turn to your partner and you go, by the way, in case we die, I just want to let you know you have the biggest dick I've ever seen.
Oh, that's right. I do remember him saying that. I was like, where'd that come from?
The fuck?
I mean, you guys wouldn't say that to each other?
No! I mean, Kevin might say it to me, but I'd never say it to Kevin.
You probably say it to Chris.
Chris would probably say it to me, but I'd never say it to Chris. I mean, you know.
What are you talking about? You're mean to me. I'm not mean to you.
Exactly.
Rapid Fire. That's another good one.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Rapid Fire. That's another good movie that he was in. That's another good one. Good action movie.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
That's pretty good.
Man, I watched a lot of direct-to-video in the 80s. The 80s and 90s. Clearly. That was my bread and butter. I would go to the video store and just anything that looked batshit crazy, I was like, I'm in. you know, and I would grab it. And we would watch, me and my buddies, we would get a big giant circle sub, which may or may not have potato salad in the middle, depending on how we felt. Do we want potato salad tonight? I don't know. So we get this giant circle sub, and then we would get a gallon of chocolate milk. And then we would rent 6 movies, and we'd watch at least 3 in one night. And while we ate our circle sub and drank our chocolate milk, we're fucking stupid. And we were in our like 20s too. You know what I mean? Like we weren't like just like we could have had alcohol.
I
In
mean,
other
that
words,
sounds like something that you do in your 20s, though.
yeah, we're like, let's have some chocolate milk and some
Honestly,
circle subs.
that sounds like a fun time now in our 40s.
It does. Now, well, yeah, and then you can take a nap or something afterwards.
That was
Did you
us.
ready to go-
We would rent like
I
12
petition
pizzas
that
and
that's
watch
what we do
KF.
for our next movie marathon.
I'm not against it, Bonnie. We can get a sub.
Do they still make circle subs?
I don't know if they make circle subs still, to be honest. I haven't seen any in the longest time. But we could at least, at the very least, we could just get like some big loaves of Italian bread or something and make our own damn sandwiches if we wanted.
Oh dear God, we could make fool's gold.
Did you ever write any of those American Ninja movies? Those were good. Those were fun to
I'll
watch.
say the thing.
You what? Bonnie, what?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I said I'll send you a thing on
Oh,
fool's gold.
Okay, thank you. What would you say, Kevin?
I said, did you ever write any of those American Ninja movies? Those were fun. They were terrible, but they were fun at the same time.
I don't know if I did. I watched a ninja movie, but I don't think it was an American ninja movie. I think it was just called Ninja 4 or something.
Mm.
And it was this lady ninja in there, and she just kept getting naked. And I was like, she's not a very good ninja. She just keeps finding men to have sex with. I was like, I don't know if this is what ninjas do.
I remember 3 Ninjas.
There's 3 ninjas, of course.
I remember
And
Surf
also-
Ninjas.
And I also remember Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously.
We all remember them, buddy. We all remember them.
Yeah.
By the way, I am almost completed my entire set of the Universal Monster Turtles. Let me reach over here real quick. I'll show you this one. I probably already showed this one, but I have this one here, which is the Donatello Invisible Man
That's pretty cool.
Ninja Turtle. And then just over the weekend, I acquired the Raphael Wolfman, the Leonardo Creature from the Black Lagoon, and the April O'Neil Bride of Frankenstein.
So who's Dracula?
I don't know offhand. I think I want to say it's Leonardo, but I'm not 100%. I'm not 100%. I don't
What is
remember.
Michelangelo?
Mikey's the Mummy. Mikey's the Mummy, and then I think he's another character too. But yeah, Mikey's the Mummy, and Casey Jones is the Phantom of the Opera.
And who's Splinter?
Splinter is he's the vampire hunter. He's what's his name?
Van Helsing?
Van Helsing. Yeah, that's Splinter. Makes sense, right? He has a stake. He has splinters. You know, splinter wood, right?
Makes sense.
It would have either been Splinter or Donatello.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was
Splinter would have made more sense as Wolfman.
could have. Yeah. I don't know why they gave it to Raphael, because Raphael is also Frankenstein, which is pretty badass. Like that one, Frankenstein and the Mummy are probably my 2 favorite ones. Leonardo is also, not only is he the Creature from the Black Lagoon, but they made him the Hunchback of Notre Dame as well.
Ah.
And
What about Shredder?
that one's really cool too.
Make Shredder anything?
I don't know if they made Shredder anything. I don't remember them making Shredder anything. If anybody remembers in the chat, go ahead and throw that out there. Other ones that there were, because I can't remember them all. Next shift in here, got to run. Okay, Belt Loop, it was good having you on. Thank you
Take
for
care.
taking
Take care.
part. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
But yeah, this mummy looks awesome. I'm probably going to buy it at Walmart tomorrow.
Circle Sub sounds like a back east thing, but the idea is magnificent of all-nighters with pals watching bad movies. Yeah, certainly was, Mr. Sean. It was a good time. Elliot Sparrow says Invisible Man. I don't see it.
I don't see it. Oh,
He's probably a big John Cena fan, too.
I'm sure he is.
You know, if he could ever watch him. Yep. All right, so Brandon Lee and the Crow. The whole concept of the Crow was the guy dies and then comes back to life as a weapon of vengeance.
Mhm.
And the crow's kind of like the source of the power, so to speak.
And sadly, on set is where somebody actually dies.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they don't come back. You know what I mean? So it just sucks. Like, it's just... Yeah,
I
that
can
was a
imagine-
tragedy, for sure.
I can't imagine what it was like to try and finish that film. I know they were almost done anyway, but still, just to
Well,
go back to the
yeah.
last.
They filmed.
weeks
They
or
finished
so.
Rust, too.
Yeah.
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 The
I
trailer's
saw a
out
trailer
for that.
it,
Yeah.
hmm
I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that's ballsy.
They actually just put out a documentary about Rust. And they
It's
spoke
on
to
Hulu,
a
right?
lot of the cast members and the crew and people that were on set that day and everything. It was actually really interesting.
Yeah.
It's on Hulu, right?
It's on Hulu, yeah.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
The documentary?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called The Last Shot.
I don't know how it's going to do. I don't know if the film's going to be, like, relatively ignored or if people are going to watch it out of a morbid curiosity.
I think it's probably going to be somewhere like down the middle. I don't think it'll do extraordinarily well,
Hmm.
but I do think that it'll bring in something, mostly because of the morbid curiosity.
By the way, they call a documentary "The Last Shot." That's a little kind of disturbing.
Right?
Yeah, that really is in kind of poor taste, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you're talking about film, but it's also a gun. And I
Yeah.
get the idea to want to do that and be like, oh,
Right. The whole,
but also have
Yeah.
some decorum, have a little,
yeah.
respect.
Yeah, it's like serial killer chops people up, and then they catch them, and they call it the last cut or something like that.
The
Last
The
slice.
Last Supper.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The last March.
Ooh. Shh, Chris. Shh. Don't get us canceled.
I have
All right.
nothing to do with this.
All right, I'm going to bring up one that I haven't seen. I don't believe, or did I? No, I think I did. Yes, I did. It was Alan Rickman. And it was Alice in Wonderland, I think, called Through the Looking Glass, right?
That's the sequel.
Yeah.
It was a sequel, yeah.
Yeah, that was the sequel to it. Alan Rickman's last role was a voice role of the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And perfectly fine. He did a perfectly fine job of being kind of a snooty, what do they call those? It's not vaping, it's
Hookah.
hookah.
Hookah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Smoking
Snooty hookah smoking caterpillar. Like, what did you think of it, guys? Bonnie in particular, since I know that you've seen it.
I did see it. Sadly, I think it was a little forgettable. It was. The first one was pretty good. I really enjoyed the first one. The second one just lost me. I think there
Hey,
was
Philippe.
just a little. Yeah, there was just a little too much going on with it. None of it really made a whole lot of sense. Just,
Well, wasn't the sequel, wasn't there like a big 35, 40-minute section where they're trying to catch the Jabberwocky?
yeah.
Yeah, and that was just kind of too long. And it was too long of a sequence, yeah.
Who directed the first one?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Did he direct the second?
I think I'm
Yes.
pretty sure he
Did
did,
he?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, this was right
Yeah.
around the time where everybody was like, Tim needs to stop. I think that's what was happening.
Yeah.
What
Or
did you
at
guys
least,
think?
Take a break or something, because that one just
Yeah,
it didn't do it, and it didn't do very well at the box office.
I think that was a
either.
paycheck grab for him.
Very much
unfortunately.
so.
But
Yeah.
what did you guys think of the Beetlejuice? Did you like that?
Oh, I loved it.
I loved it.
I thought it was fun. Yeah.
I thought it was
I love the
enjoyable.
practical
The
effects
only thing
for
I
it.
didn't like about it was the wedding sequence, the lip syncing. I felt like that went on a little too
Oh
long.
yeah, that's true.
And then also, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but at this point it's on you, so I'm gonna say it out loud now. But I feel like the song choice for that wasn't the best,
Correct.
because I feel like more people are more familiar with the Weird Al version of it than they are the actual song itself.
Mm.
So for me, I'm watching the movie, I'm hearing the original song pretty much for the first time, and in my head I'm fighting with the lyrics to Jurassic Park
Hmm.
by Weird Al. Like in my head I can just hear Jurassic Park is frightening in the dark. Like, yeah. So that sequence didn't work so well for me because it went on too long and it just wasn't the right song for that moment. It should have been something a little bit more above the radar, you know?
I agree.
Yep, 100% on that. But Alan Rickman, what a fantastic actor. He acted in Chris's favorite movie of all time. What's that movie, Chris? I forget the name of it.
That was Actually It's Love. Actually.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Let us not forget also Snape.
Oh yeah, he was Snape. And not to spoil that either, but that
white Snape.
What a complex, interesting character Snape was, to love someone so dearly that you're kind of, I don't know, like you're going above and beyond what you should, technically, like for him, what he should have, but he did it.
Yep.
So I'm interested in this.
Keep her son safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in this series because I hope that they dive a little bit more into that. I hope we get a little bit more
insight.
Insight with the character.
I mean, that's the great thing about series, right? Is that you have a chance
You can do that.
to explore.
Yeah.
You have more time.
Right. Yeah. Even though, I mean, they made what, 6 of these films? 7? 8. 8 of these films, even though they made 8 of these damn films.
And the last book was split into 2.
I think it's smart pivoting away from film, by the way, because the new spin-off series that they were doing just shit the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first one was pretty good.
First one was pretty solid. The second one, if I recall, was pretty trash.
That's when they brought Johnny Depp in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty bad.
Johnny Depp was in the end of the first one, but
Yeah. It was trash, and then it just got worse from there.
Yeah, and then they recast him in the third one, which was so stupid because at that point, why did you have to like recast him completely? Why not just bring back Colin Farrell? Because that's who he was the whole damn time the first movie was going on.
Right. Yeah. No, let's go with a completely different actor. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
It was just that was stupid.
Yeah, and then like I don't understand her ideology, her thought process behind it, because didn't she say Dumbledore was gay?
Yes.
And then she came out against transgenders?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm not defending her. Trust, I'm not defending her at all. But there are people out there that think it's fine when people are gay, but oh no, you're not. You can't be you know. It's two different things to certain people.
What if you said? What if you told her you were a gay cross-dresser?
I didn't say I agree with it.
Or a gay cosplayer, and you like just cosplaying as women. That would be acceptable. But if you were transgender, I don't get it, man. She's a wackadoo. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
She's super rich.
Well, she should have kept her super rich mouth sewn shut. Not everybody needs to know your opinion.
They're going to boycott the series and everything else because they don't want any part of supporting her,
financing her, basically.
Money.
Yeah, which is a shame because a lot of those people grew up with that material and grew up loving those characters. Yeah. And sometimes some of those characters helped them develop and become who they were. It gave them strength or gave them motivation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But now it's all gotten twisted, which is sad. It's super sad.
It's been tainted for a lot of people.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's pull up a couple more here and then we'll call it.
Well, another series or franchise that copied the Harry Potter model, amongst others, with the splitting movies in half to end it.
Mm-hmm.
The Hunger Games. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Philip Seymour Hoffman. But that was a shocker too when he passed.
Yeah, how did he pass? Do we remember how he passed?
I think he was an overdose too, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was a heroin.
I want to say it was drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was so upset that day. Oh my god! And then I came home and I watched Pirate Radio. That was my tribute movie that night.
I don't know if I ever seen
That was
that
up there
movie.
with Robin Williams for me, which was someone we forgot to add to our list too. Robin Williams. That's
Yeah.
another that hurt too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot on this list. So we've got Philip
one
Seymour Hoffman, right? But we also have Tony Todd. His last film was Final Destination: Bloodlines. So Tony Todd, and he was looking pretty frail, you know, in that. Like, he definitely changed from when we saw him last at Comic-Con, Kevin.
That's right.
We've got Brittany Murphy.
Oh, jeez, that hurts too.
Something Wicked.
The fact that I met her in person at the ArcLight many years ago, she was so nice. She would ever have a conversation with me. We're just chatting. You know, she's from New Jersey, which I didn't know that at the time, and we're just having this, nice, sweet conversation. Very genuine person. And then when I saw that HBO documentary, the way her friends and family described her, I was like, yeah, that's the person I met. And I felt terrible that what's his name from the 70s show treated her poorly in their relationship. Yeah, Ashton Kutcher, and then that British dude who she ended up marrying for which it's so sad, so sad.
We got Brittany. Let's see, Chadwick Boseman.
Boseman,
We've got two versions. We've got the actual film, Black Bottom, which I've never seen.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Yeah.
Okay. Can't
And
forget.
of course, What If?
Was it good? Have you guys seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? Because it looks like it'd be good.
I started it and then I didn't finish it. And that's not to say that it wasn't a good. It was. I was just very distracted at the time, so I just didn't have a chance to actually sit down and
Give your full attention. Give your full attention.
Yeah.
And then he did What If? He did the Black Panther and that T'Challa.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sammy says she has nothing to do with what it is to do. I will always love Harry Potter. It has a life apart from her. She has nothing to do with what it is to do today. Well, okay. And then she says, Clueless is a big part of my life, and I'll always miss Brittany. Yeah, she was great in that. Yeah. And Chadwick was a fantastic actor. And gone too soon. Again, taken for just horrible reasons.
Yeah. Cancer
Mhm.
can suck a dick.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
How about
never
Marlon?
the right, it's always the good people, the people
I know.
that don't deserve it.
Patrick Swayze. Did Patrick Swayze have cancer too?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Oh yeah, he's on the list too. We got
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando with the score. I have that one. That was an Ed Norton and Al Pacino one. If I recall, that was directed by Frank Oz, right?
Yes, I believe so.
And he was so temperamental on set that he kept making pig noises to Frank and calling him Piggy because he felt that he was being underutilized and it was gross being directed by someone that also directed Muppets.
And also, if you would have done
But
Master
fuck
Yoda's,
you. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
if you would have done Yoda's voice, I think he probably would be cool with that.
He would, cunt you are. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have told
Right
that
on
dude
with
off
that.
old school. Hey, Kermit, kick his ass. Some shit. I would have fucked with him. But he was a consummate professional, that Oz. He put up with it, which he should not have, but he did.
Hey, surrender on you.
We were talking about Carrie Fisher earlier. Wonderwell was apparently her last film. I don't know what the hell this is. It looks wackadoo, man.
So this movie was shot in 2016, and then it ran out of money, and they never came out. And eventually they got the money, and eventually it re-released last year. I saw the trailer. The trailer looks really cool. I have not had a chance to watch it yet because I just discovered it.
What's it about?
It's crazy. It's basically it's about this little girl, in this fantasy world. It's it's a fairy tale set between modern day Italy and an imaginary realm just beyond called Wonderwell and it's a 12-year-old girl, and she goes in these two worlds. It's a coming of age story with her. But even though it's a kid's movie, even though it's about a kid, it's not a kid's movie. But it looks wacky, dude. It definitely looks wacky.
Mr. Sean says that he forgot that Patrick Swayze was an excellent Adam Quartermain on the Stars channel. It was like a movie, and it was really worth watching. I'd forgotten about that too, and I also wanted to bring up that The Librarian also was a great series. Not Patrick Swayze, but Noah Wyle, I believe, was the titular character in that. And it ended up they made a series out of it also, and a series of films. So I think it got 3 or 4 films out of it. I think it was for TNT or TNN. It was one of those networks. Okay, here's another one. This one's sad. Very recent. Gene Hackman.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Mooseport. Not a great film at all. Not an awful film, just an unforgettable, a simply forgettable film that wasn't extremely funny by any means. But Gene Hackman was in it. Gene Hackman's always a great performer. He never let anybody down with his performance, I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Jack Lemmon.
Legend of Bagger Vance. Legend of Bagger Vance.
He was in that, and then he continued to do the voiceover in it, you guys said? Or am I wrong? He wasn't the narrator?
Oh, yeah.
He was also the narrator? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so The Legend of Bagger Vance with Jack Lemmon. John Belushi in Neighbors, which I don't think I've ever seen, and after seeing this one still shot of this, I want to watch it.
I like it.
You like that still shot?
It's based. Well, it's based. It's the Seth Rogen movie's based on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, so it's basically a remake?
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, except it's a couple instead of like fraternity. But it's loosely based. But I liked it. I thought the movie was funny. It came out in '81. It's a black comedy. It has John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd are in it. I think it's pretty hilarious.
Sounds very black, Chris. Dark comedy too, I guess you could say. But we'll go with black comedy.
Sorry, dark comedy. Hey, I was just reading what Wikipedia said. It said
no, that's fine.
It's fine. It says Neighbors is 1981
It's
American
fine.
black comedy.
It's fine. Kirk Douglas, guys. Something building.
103? It's like 103 years old.
I don't know this movie. What's the name of it? I can't even pull up the title. It's not telling me.
It is called... What is Kirk Douglas? It was called...
Something Building Murders? Empire...
Oh, yeah. Empire State Building Murders.
Oh, so it's a murder mystery.
Yeah, Empire State Building Murders.
Okay. Okay, I could get behind that. Has anybody seen it? Anybody in the chat seen that?
Professor?
I'm not.
All right, Amish. Take care. Thanks for popping
I'm
in.
a big murder mystery person.
Wow. Embarrassing.
How dare you?
Yeah. Bonnie and I are probably going to go see Clue this weekend.
I am enjoying this new one on Netflix that just came out, The Residence.
The Residence?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that about?
It's about the residents, like the residents of the White House, so not like the White House, but where the president lives. And there's a murder or a death, and they think it's a murder, and they have this kind of like quirky detective come in to kind of solve the murder. And it's played by what's her name from Orange is the New Black, the Crazy Eyes.
Oh.
Uzo.
Oh, interesting.
I think I saw a trailer for that.
Okay.
Hey, it's pretty good. And it has a pretty good cast. It has Jason Lee. It has an appearance by Jason Lee.
Interesting. Really? Well, he hasn't been in anything in a minute.
Well,
he hasn't done anything in a long time.
Uzo Aduba, Giancarlo Esposito, is how he pronounces it.
Giancarlo Esposito?
No, it's Esposito.
He's weird. He's weird as shit.
No, sorry, it's Esposito.
I'm gonna tell you guys right now. He probably made it up because he's weird as shit. Like I saw him behind the scenes when we went to the James Gordon show. James Gordon show, and he was one of the guests. He's fucking weird. He's a weirdo.
Yeah, Esposito is what he calls it.
He's weird as shit.
But it also has.
How weird can he be?
But it also has Randall Park, Ken Marino. A bunch of people in it. It's really, I think it's fun.
What about Powder Blue? That was Patrick
know nothing
Swayze's
about
last
it.
film. I don't know
That was a
anything
movie
either.
about blue. That was a movie about blue cocaine.
Sounds awful. Okay, sorry, Swayze.
No, it was actually it was a crash. It was an interconnected story. A bunch of different like people in it. Had Jessica Biel, Ray Liotta, Forrest Whitaker, Patrick Swayze, Eddie Redmayne, Christopherson.
Yeah.
It's about it takes place in L.A. It's basically a mortician, an ex-con, a suicidal ex-priest, and a stripper. They all come together on Christmas Eve.
Interesting.
That's the premise.
Okay. What about Paul Walker? Fast and the Furious 7.
Yeah, I believe he died during the shooting of the movie.
Yeah, they had to use like his brothers to help finish his scenes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
I
Yep.
only saw the first two.
And it didn't. The interesting thing is they didn't kill the character off afterwards. They just kind of just let him walk away and
in a
walk
sunset.
away.
Yeah.
Like the sunset.
Yeah. He wanted to get away from the life, so to speak.
And they let him.
Which
gave
I
him
think-
a happy ending. Yeah.
Kind of screwed up Jordana Brewster's character too, because that's his love interest, and then it's
Yeah,
like,
she had nothing to do. After
yeah,
that,
so it kind of screwed her in that realm. They should have killed him, to be honest. But I think I know what they were doing. They were trying to be respectful. They didn't want to kill him off in a show about cars when he died
In a car.
in a car. So I kind of get it, but still, it did almost ruin her career too.
That situation disturbed me too, because like it was so unnecessary. It was like you're taking an unnecessary risk and you get yourself killed. It was just like so sad.
Yeah.
So sad.
But I mean, some people gamble, some people, use 3 fingers, and some people just drive recklessly in cars. It's just the way it is.
Okay,
Kevin.
I don't understand. What does 3 fingers have to do with
Oh, I'll
anything?
show you later. You want to come over tonight? 10:30. You come over. Bring the baby oil.
It's gonna be something dirty.
Let's see. Mr. Sean says, if you mention Kirk Douglas, you have to mention Burt Lancaster. His last one was Field of Dreams.
Yeah, that's true.
Sean McGee
That's
says
true.
Charlie Chapman in A Countess from Hong Kong. Burt Lancaster was definitely one of the greats.
Mm-hmm.
I know the name Burt Lancaster. Let me look up his face, because I can't
You don't remember what
picture.
his face looks like?
Sometimes I have trouble. Like, I can't connect a name with a face. If I see the face, I know the person instantly. Oh, yeah, that guy. Okay. I know him.
Oh, that guy. That guy.
I know him. All right. Okay. There we go. That took a second. But I think it's going to do us, guys. I think it's going to do us for the evening. Thank you for being here for our almost completely on time live show, which is a rarity lately. But no technical issues. Everything went smooth. We had everything done in advance. Chris was kind enough to work on the list for us. So we had that, and everything was rocking and rolling. Nezzy just pops in to go, oh, God. I think it's the 3-finger thing. That's why she popped in. She was like, somebody's saying 3 fingers?
And then Evan's like, Kevin, I'm shocked you don't know.
Evan popped in, too. Bonnie, you've only watched the first 2. Wow, how did you do it? I can barely watch the first one.
I enjoyed the first one. The second one, I can't remember. I think I saw it just because, like, out of obligation. I'm like, well, I saw the first one and I enjoyed it, so I must like the second one too. When it's, and yeah, it didn't really do it for me. And then from that point on, I just intentionally missed them all.
Yeah, that's fair. The 5th one's great, though, I will say. The first one is okay. Chris, we can't hear you. The second one is not very good. The third one is bad. The 4th one is okay. But man, oh man, when they bring in The Rock for the 5th one, it's not The Rock. It's not The Rock that makes it amazing. It's the story. It's so good. The 5th one is by far the best. By far. Chris, what do you think?
Maybe I'll check out the 5th one
Chris, am I right?
and skip everything else.
Thumbs up.
I think he agrees with you.
Thumbs up. Yeah, I think he agrees with me. Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, with that, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Yes, we can hear you, Chris.
now.
We can hear you. Thank God he
Well,
popped in
as we're
listening.
leaving, as we're leaving.
Yeah.
Yes, I love the fifth. I love the fifth movie.
It's great, yeah. Good night, Mom and Dad. Love you guys. Good night to everybody else in the chat. Appreciate you all for being in. Very lively, very nice chat tonight, so appreciate everybody for being a part of that.
And you can continue the chat after we leave, too. That's the funny thing. I've actually seen that.
Yeah, it can keep going. It can keep
Keep going
going.
once we leave.
Kevin wants you to keep chatting forever. 4 people died in the chat. They
Never-ending
were
chat.
6 days in, and they just didn't make it.
Ending chat.
Oh, Nezzy says, whatever. I've been here since close to the beginning. I just have no compunction to ever try to talk in the chat. I added that last part. But anyway, all right, guys. Have a great night. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We appreciate you. And if you're feeling thirsty, perhaps
You'll have a memorable, iconic, but always impactful Rumble Pop.